To begin viewing an order in Order Inquire, you have two options. You can either enter the order number directly in the order number field, followed by the enter key, or you can use the search to search for the order you're looking for and select it from the order list. In this case, I'm going to enter the order that I want to look up, followed by the enter key. And that tells the system to go ahead and grab me all the details regarding that specific order. Now on my screen I can see a lot of information about this order, and we're going to walk through it from the top to the bottom. So starting in the top left hand corner, you can see that order's division, channel, and source code. I of course have my order number field, the order state, if there's a hold status, and then the order status as well. Next to that, to the right, I have three buttons: a cancel, a refresh, and an open an order entry. The cancel button will clear out my order and allow me to enter another order to view. The refresh button is going to tell the system to grab the most recent order details regarding this order in the event I had it open and changes were made in the meantime. Open an order entry is going to then allow me to view that order in order entry, provided it's in a modifiable state. To the right of that, I have the ability to capture register number, the Amazon order number, a third-party order number, and also the website order number. To the right of that, I have who entered that order, which is either going to be an operator, like an order entry operator, or it's going to be maybe through an order import or an API, which then might say something like SQL service. I also have the order entry date, the close date, and account close date if applicable. Underneath those fields then, I have the bill to information. In addition to that, I also have a tab to select the order by customer if it happens to be different than the bill to. Within the bill to customer section, I also have a hyperlink that allows me to, with a single click, quickly and easily access customer maintenance with that customer number already pulled up. To the left of the billing and order by information, I then have my shipping information. This includes the shipping address, shipping method, and also some statuses such as, has the order been printed? Is it currently being worked in the warehouse, for example? Above this box, you will see a drop-down, which allows you to navigate between different ship to levels. By default, all ship to levels are displayed, but I can navigate to an individual ship to level, which will update the individual print status for that ship to level, along with the items on that ship to level as well. To the right of that, I do have a stop shipment button. So if I do use the CCS warehousing functionality, I do have the ability to flag an order to stop shipment, which would prevent the warehouse from actually completing shipment if they were already in process of that order. And then to the right of that, I can see all of the different order totals. So merchandise, tax, shipping, if there were any order adjustments, whether they're credits or debits, and then the total, any payments that were made, and any outstanding balance. Now, if there was also a promotion that was added on the order, there would be a blue button that says promo right above that merchandise total, and that would allow me to see the promotion that was used and applied to the order as well. Now you'll notice underneath all of this information, if I scroll down, I have a series of different tabs that hold more information. The first tab that's always displayed by default is going to be the Items tab. So you can see all of the different items that are on the order, their quantity, their price, along with their current status, the next purchase order date if applicable, and any other details that you might need to know regarding that specific item. The next tab then is the Payments tab. So this is going to show me any payments that were made on this order, and the status of all of those payments. I can't change or do anything at this point other than view the information regarding the payments. One important thing to keep in mind is if a payment is declined or on any sort of a hold, like an address verification service hold, an AVS hold, in that case you may need to expand out a payment line in order to view more details. So to the left of each payment there is a little plus sign where you can select that, and that's going to bring you to another line of details regarding that specific payment. I can select the plus again to see the third line, which is more detailed information. This is extremely helpful because in some cases you might get information such as maybe the address matched but the zip code didn't. That's an indicator that maybe it's just a simple typo, something easy to fix. So looking at this information and seeing why it might have declined or why it might be on some sort of a hold is critical to being able to help resolve the situation and get the payment process through. The next tab of information then we have is order notes. So this is specific to the order that we're viewing. Any order notes that are entered in Enter Orders or in Order Inquire will be visible in this list on the left-hand side. And you just simply select the note that you want to view from the left-hand side and it will appear there on the right. You can also add new notes, so maybe when following up with a customer or the customer's calling in to check on something, you may need to add a new note. You would do so by selecting the New Note button on the left-hand side of the screen. Now my note entry section is completely cleared out, and I can go ahead and type my new note details here. Now in order to make sure that those save, I do need to make sure I hit the Save button. So there is a save over on the left-hand side. I get a pop-up letting me know my note has saved, and now I can see it appear in the grid as well. The Holds tab is the next tab that's listed here. This is going to show you any holds that are currently on the order, along with any holds that have been released from the order as well. So in this case, I can see this order actually has two different holds, an order total with different ship to, meaning the shipping and the billing address are different, and a possible fraud credit card number hold, meaning that the credit card that was used is a possible fraudulent credit card number. So I would need to go ahead and follow my processes to be able to handle each of these holds, and I would release the holds if needed from order entry. Okay, so again, you can't do anything with these holds from Order Inquire. It's just a view only. Underneath the holds is then what we call the Ship Complete section. Ship Complete means that your entire order is going to be held for the back-ordered items to come in so that all of your items can ship out together. Now, in some cases, you may have a setting turned on that says 100% of your orders need to ship complete, which means that this flag would automatically be checked anytime a back order and a shippable item are on an order together, and that customer's order would be held until that back order item is in stock. A user can override that by unchecking that Ship Complete flag. Now again, this is done in order entry in the hold section. You cannot release a Ship Complete hold from Order Inquire. You can only view that might be why the order hasn't shipped yet. The next tab then is Tracking. And this is going to display any tracking details for any packages that have shipped out within the system. So right now, in this case, there's no tracking details. This order is still an open order. It has holds on it. It hasn't even been sent to the warehouse yet. However, if there was information, we would be able to see, for example, the tracking number in this tracking ID column. And from there, I could copy it and paste it into my web browser to quickly and easily track the order for the customer. The next tab is the Letters tab. And this is where we would go ahead and send out any manual letters. Maybe the customer needs a second order confirmation because they didn't, they deleted their first one on accident. So we can go ahead and use the email templates here to send out any of the email template forms that we have available in this list to select. We can also send a custom email from here. So just like in customer maintenance, we have that same functionality where we can choose between either a templated email or a custom email. If there was an email address already entered on this customer's record, that would automatically populate in this email field, but I can go ahead and manually type one as well. I can also add a CC or a BCC, enter my subject, the body of the email, and then hit send, and that will go to the email address provided. The Ship To tab is just going to give us a bunch of information, again, related to shipping details, such as, was this order flagged as a residential address or not? If not, then obviously it's going to have different shipping requirements with UPS or FedEx. Is it customer signature required? And again, these are flags that you can't change from here. They are just view only. Again, we can see the shipping method, the request date, if it was a rush order, if there was any gift message or notes that were entered in there, any PO numbers or any other additional information that might have been captured regarding that order. The next tab is the balance tab, and this is going to be specific to this order. So keep in mind that this balance is not specific to the customer's open account balance or anything like that. This balance is specific to this order. So if this order did result in an open balance being created, we would be able to see that information displayed here in this open balances grid on the left-hand side of the screen. If the order resulted in a refund check being created, we again would be able to see that under the refund checks grid here on the right-hand side of the screen. And then at that time, we would also see the refund check bill to address being populated here, which really essentially tells us where was that refund check mailed to. If there was any gift cards on this order, then the gift cards tab would allow us to see information pertaining to that gift card. For example, we would be able to see the gift card number and, more importantly, the gift card status, which would indicate to us whether or not that gift card is actually active and available for use. Gift cards, while purchased immediately and able, to have in hand or have an email immediately, can't actually be used until the billing process on that order has been completed. So sometimes just because of that delay, that billing process might hold up somebody from being able to use a gift card, and it's important to be able to see the status to be able to determine if that might be what is going on there. The customer notes tab is just going to show me any customer notes from the customer's account. It is just a view only. I can't actually enter any new customer notes at this point. If I needed to enter a customer note, I would have to navigate to customer maintenance again. I would do so selecting the customer hyperlink under the bill to information on the top of the screen. That is going to open up my customer maintenance screen, and the first tab that I have open here is notes. So I would come in here, select new note, enter my note, and move on. All right, the next tab that we have then is changes. This is a very powerful tab. It has a lot of information that you can find extremely helpful when you're viewing an order for various customer service situations. This tab helps to kind of let you know different actions that have occurred with this order since the order's been placed or originally saved or put into the system. So if somebody, for example, adds or removes an order adjustment, changes the shipping amount, adds a promotion code, adds or releases an order hold, we can see details listed in this changes grid, and it's going to tell me the date and the time that the action occurred, the user that completed that action, and then a brief description. So I have a real good picture of kind of what's going on with that order and what might have happened at any given time. The picked status then is the next tab that's available here in Order Inquire. The picked status tab is really powerful if you are using RF within your warehouse. So if you're using CCS Warehouse and you're using RF within that, so your warehouse people, have a little RF gun and they're going around and scanning, the items as they're picking them, etc. That is what would populate this grid. So we would be able to see the picked status, which items have been picked, what's the quantity that was picked, who picked them, which again, it can be really helpful for just following up on questions that you might have, or, an issue. Maybe you find out that, oh my goodness, this is a fraud order. The customer contacted right away. We need to, stop it from shipping. Now I know which picker to go see about actually pulling it off of the cart and making sure that doesn't go out. Shipped serial numbers. So if you do capture serial number on any of your items at the time that they do get shipped, we would be able to see what that serial number is in this grid here. And then the last tab is user defined. So this is different for everybody. You can have very unique user defined fields, or you can have none at all, depending on what your needs are. What this does is it allows us to collect additional information about the customer, about the order, things like that. And that could be used for different marketing things down the road. So again, may or may not be used in your scenario. So that's all of the information that is available on the Order Inquire screen. There really is a lot of information. And the biggest thing to keep in mind is that every single customer service scenario that you encounter is going to be unique. And you're not always going to be looking for the same piece of information. But it's important to understand all of the pieces of information you have, what they mean, and how they could work together. One of the things that I really recommend is that you take time to go through and look up various orders and different statuses. You can do so using your Order Inquire search. So again, if I select cancel and I go to my search, one of the great tools here is the status search option. So I can search for just open orders, so orders where maybe I could make a modification in them yet. Orders that are closed, so there's nothing left to do on them. Orders that are just in a quote status, and then all orders. And so playing around with these different combinations, you're going to find different types of orders that are going to have different information. For example, if I select closed orders, and maybe I want to narrow down my search date parameter here so I don't take too long searching. Here I have an order that's closed. I can select it from the list. It's going to pull up. So now I can see what's different about this one. I can see the state looks different. It's not on a hold. It says open on account. But the status is closed. I can see this has a closed date. And if I go down and I look at the item here, it was a drop shipping item and it's now drop shipped, which means it's been completed. So if I go look at tracking, in here I can see some tracking details along with a tracking ID. Now, of course, in this situation, this is a test tracking ID, so this isn't a valid one, but if it were, I would simply just copy that and go into my browser window, and then I would paste that, and that would allow me to get the tracking information. If I go to the balance tab, here I can see the open balance that was created for this. And I can see at this point, it hasn't been paid yet. So again, just playing around by looking up different orders. You can look up orders that are on hold. So if I went and I looked up open orders or all orders, I could look for specific hold codes and I could pull them up by that, or I could look for all orders with a hold code and just kind of get a taste, get a feel for what information is going to be displayed, what is it going to look like, so that way you are more prepared to be able to easily find what you're looking for in a true customer service situation.